right, hello everybody. Welcome to the newest thing that we are trying to do, me and my wonderful friend, Mr. Yaboi Lettuce. This is the Imaginary Boys podcast. I am your host, Mr. Habanero, and over here is my co-host, or just host in general, Mr. Yaboi Lettuce.
I'm fine with co-host.
Co-host? Okay.
Yeah.
We can trade it off every once in a while. We could do that. I don't mind. You could be co-host. I can be co-host. We can. It's nothing particularly special. I like to think that this is a fun new little project that both of us are bringing to life. If you know what I mean.
I am very excited for this.
Me as well. We actually. It's actually kind of funny. How long have we spent planning this? We like, what is it now, like an hour in, and we finally decided to start?
Well, yeah, you woke up and was like, "Hey, buddy, let's do this."
Pretty
and
much.
We came up with the name in an hour.
Yeah.
It took us an hour to figure out what to call ourselves.
That is very true. I would say that considering all the planning we did, it was all centered around trying to figure out whether or not, our name would be correct. And we definitely had a few interesting names.
Yeah. Yeah. In order to keep this from going into the NC-17 range, we probably had to kill a few of those names.
Just a couple.
I'm happy with what we came up with, so we're moving with that.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, that means the rest of this episode is unscripted. So
that's the point, though. That's what we planned. I mean, well, that's how I feel, anyways. I do everything unscripted. What do you think I am, professional or something? Like, what are you talking about?
So, just warning the listeners to hang on tight. It's going to get good.
Pretty much. So we are the Imaginary Boys. Which was geniusly thought up by Lettuce himself. Most of my names that I came up with were pretty awful, so... but Lettuce came up with the name Imaginary Boys, and I was like, this is genius. We're probably going to stick with this, so here we are as the Imaginary Boys.
Yeah. You could listen to us and pretend like we're your friends.
Yeah. You could put your speaker on the table, you can pull out your little pink plastic tea set, and you can sit down with your imaginary boys and have a little tea party with all your stuffed animals.
Yeah. That's not creepy at all.
Yeah, so it's totally normal. What are you talking about?
It's absolutely normal. Nobody goes into therapy for this.
No, not in the slightest.
No.
So this is the first episode, which we have both kind of decided we wanted to call it Hot Salad. And why are we calling it Hot Salad? Well,
because we didn't want to name the podcast that.
It's true. That was my idea. That was my concept of what we should name the podcast. I was like, Lettuce, let's call it Hot Salad.
And we chuckled, and we had a great laugh. And then I was like, well, me being me, and most of your audience probably already knows me for the most part, but for those that are uninitiated, I am capable of saying some real stuff from time to time.
That's true.
Well, so
Google loves him.
Google has me shadow banned from everybody, because I like to say the real stuff. So I warned him. I was like, "Yes, the hot salad. That's great. I'm not going to be able to stop myself from making salad tossing references 2 or 3 times an episode. And maybe you don't want to have to explain to accidental listeners what it means to toss salad."
Well, okay, you know what? Let's
Let's put a pin in that.
Hold on. Yeah, wait a minute.
We didn't have to go any further. We just move on.
No, you know what? I think maybe in the official hot salad episode, this is something that we could talk about a little bit. Let's kind of reason here. Okay, let me kind of go over what my thought process was. I am the spicy boy. I'm Hobbs, Mr. Habanero, the spicy boy. And then we've got my other host over here, Mr. Lettuce. So, like, I wanted to come up with a name that kind of, reference both of us. So I was like, okay, well, we have a pepper and we have lettuce, and those are both, in a sense, vegetables. And, so what would you put vegetables of that sort into? Well, it would be a salad, right? But, like, just calling it a salad isn't gonna get the right idea across to the masses of people, so maybe it's a hot salad, What's wrong with...
No. Yeah, no, absolutely nothing. I think it's funny that you're known as the spicy one. Especially in this duo.
Yeah.
You're gonna claim the title of being the spicy one.
Clearly I'm spicier than Mr. Lettuce over here. That's very obvious. I
am not edgy at all.
He's so tame. He's like milk toast, you guys. He's milk toast.
I am the anti edge. Yeah, so I was like, no, his rationale, I got it. It logical, but I was like, bro, I'm gonna make some very unconscious tossed salad jokes, and it's going to get old really quick.
Oh my god. I'll be honest, after much discussion with Lettuce, I decided it was a terrible idea.
You knew up front that it was a terrible idea, but it was funny.
Well, you gotta understand, you guys, it was one of those situations where, Lettuce had to talk me off the edge, he's like, listen, brother, it's a good idea, like, just step away from the edge of the building, it's okay, and listen, we'll name the episode, it's fine, just step away. He was talking me off the edge, and he came up with the better name. I actually, once Lettuce suggested Imaginary Boys, I was in love. I was like, that is the name. He's the king of naming, despite what he would like to say otherwise.
I am terrible at naming things.
Liar! You're a liar. He came up with like 2 or 3 great names, you guys. Don't listen to him. He came up with like 3 great names that I could have never come up with on my own, for sure.
And all of them are references.
Well, so is Imaginary Boys, but who cares? I like it.
Well, I mean, and they will probably come up in future episodes. So So keep listening. Don't quit listening. Keep listening.
What are you
Words
doing?
are heard, y'all. Words are heard, yo.
Psst, Lettuce. You're. This is the first episode. You can't tell him to leave. We're trying to get him in here. Just don't do it.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Get off my lawn, you whippersnappers.
Yeah, so we kind of came up with this, and what was really nice is Lettuce was the one who came out and contacted me about wanting to do this, which really excited me because, as some of you might know, I've wanted to do a podcast for, like, a legitimate podcast for quite some time, and it sounds like that me and Lettuce managed to get some arranging in our schedules to probably do this maybe once a week, possibly. Maybe more. I'm not 100% sure. But we're gonna try and make it.
We've got a record scheduled for at least once a week, whether or not the episodes come out in a timely fashion.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't pegged that bit part of the bandwidth down, but we'll definitely try to get out at least weekly. And if something comes up and we're just like, oh, we've got to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Then there'll probably be extra episodes.
Yeah. And what's really nice is when me and Lettuce, we were discussing the ideas of how we wanted to do this, we actually found that we both had very diverse tastes in different kinds of things that we wanted to discuss. And I actually Really like that idea. I actually like the fact that he has things that he wants to discuss every once in a while that I'm not 100% keen on. And I'm also similar to him in that sense, where we can both kind of come at different ideas and put in our 2 cents, whether we know a whole lot about it. And some of the things that Lettuce, tossed at me, that's a hot salad reference right there.
Yeah.
So
Got my forks together and some
cling, cling, cling.
just working it in there. Some syrup.
But yeah, I definitely was really interested because Lettuce mentioned wanting to discuss like technology stuff here and there, which even though I don't know a whole lot about computers and technology and things like that, it's definitely something that I would like to brush up more on. So, knowing that Lettuce is actually very deeply involved in that kind of stuff definitely fascinated me to kind of talk about it here and there. And I thought that would be a lot of fun.
I'm gonna get you to learn how to computer, boomer.
I love the idea of you calling me a boomer. That's my favorite. And I definitely thought it would be fun to kind of talk about games, and you know what? Like we'll talk about all sorts of kinds of things. Like I mean, obviously, like I'm really into Pokemon, so that'll probably come up every once in a while right now because I'm in that ridiculous Pokemon craze, which is kind of popped up out of nowhere. Thought it might be kind of fun to discuss. Are you know what, Lettuce? Are you an anime fan? I don't know if you've ever really talked to me about anime before. Oh wait, yeah, you have.
I have.
Yeah, Golden Boy.
I'm the one. Yeah. Well, see, the problem is like Golden Boy, and like some of the more basic movies and some of the more mainstream anime.
Yeah.
Is about where my experience with anime ends.
Ah.
Like I know about Dragon Ball and I know about some shonen.
Okay.
A little bit, but not a lot. Like the old classic movies, anything by Studio Ghibli.
Right. Right. Classic stuff.
Yeah, like the mainstream stuff.
Sure.
There's another one. There's another one that I really like. It was a anime retelling of Fritz Lang's Metropolis.
What's that? I actually don't know that.
Okay, so Fritz Lang's Metropolis is a silent film from the 40s.
Oh, that's something my dad would probably be all over.
Yeah, it was considered like a very seminal, like first science fiction movie.
Interesting. Okay.
And it got redone in an anime sometime around 2000.
Huh. What's it called again?
Metropolis.
Metropolis. I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of it.
The black and white movie, if you get the original version of it,
right,
it actually syncs really well to Nine Inch Nails' "The Fragile."
Oh, really? That's a good album. That's good.
Like perfectly.
Wow, that's crazy.
And here's the funny thing: like I've scoured the internet to see if somebody has released this. And they haven't.
You should do that, man. You should make that a thing. Well, I mean, if you're as long as you're okay with the claim, but that would be really cool.
The big issue that we have is finding the original version,
right?
Because most of the versions you find are like remastered with scenes that are restored scenes.
Okay.
That throw off the sync.
Weird. Okay. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I mean,
so that's why I think that's part of the reason why no one's done it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like one of those things that you think would exist on the internet but don't.
So you're pretty into silent films then. Am I getting that idea correct?
Not especially, no. But I do like it's a pop culture reference.
Right.
But like those people who know like pop culture things about the silent film era, they know Metropolis, they know Nosferatu.
Yeah, I was about to bring that. So that was literally what I was about to bring up. I love the silent film director who did Nosferatu because there's other films that he's done that I think are genuinely amazing and need to be seen by lots of people. Like, have you ever heard of the movie? It's done. I can't remember the name of the director off the top of my head. I guess I could look him up. But have you ever seen the movie made by that same director named Sunrise? Have you ever heard of that one?
By the way, it was directed by F.W. Monroe.
Okay. He did.
Uh,
That director did a movie called Sunrise, and after it's like I think like a 2 or 3 hour film, and it's all silent. And I actually, after seeing that for the first time when I was a young adult, I basically declared it as the single greatest silent film that I had ever seen in my entire life, and I still feel about it that way.
no, I haven't seen Sunrise. But I would probably be interested in looking into it.
Yeah. It was my father got me to watch it with him. They did a special on TCM when I was like a young adult, and they were doing TCM used to have these special nights where they would only you would have to, it would be on a very specific day, like it was either like Saturday or Sunday, and they would run, it would be like after like 10 p.m. and they would just run silent movies all night long until the next day. And so they would pick all sorts of different classic silent films, and sometimes they were really good. I mean, there were a few really bad ones here and there. But there was one night where my dad, basically, he was keeping up with the schedule, and he was like, hey, they're going to be playing a movie called Sunrise, and it's done by the guy who did Nosferatu, which I had already seen at that time. And he was like, would you like to watch it? And I basically said to him, absolutely. Like, if it's done by the director who did Nosferatu, absolutely. And me and my father, we stayed up for like 2 or 3 hours watching this movie Sunrise together, and it's a masterpiece. It's absolutely spectacular. It's, like I said, one of the single greatest silent films I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's actually funny because later on, there's a band that I got really into, and somebody on YouTube took one of my favorite songs by that band and synced it up to clips of Sunrise, which was really weird, but I loved it. I secretly loved it. So going back into talking about music being synced up to silent films.
Yeah. Funny how that turns around.
Yeah. It's. Have you ever heard of the band Coal Chamber? Is that a band you're familiar with?
No.
That's okay, because not very many people know about them because they don't exist anymore. It was a kind of like a grungy, almost metal kind of band that was popular in the 90s, and I love their music. And they did a song called Rowboat. And they the guy who did the video on YouTube took a bunch of scenes from Sunrise and synced them up to the audio of Rowboat by Coal Chamber. So that's what. Yeah, well, because there's a lot of boat scenes in Sunrise. So specifically in a rowboat. So it worked out. But yeah, I would love to check out that. You said it was called Metropolis?
Yep.
Yeah, I will look into that, and maybe I'll have to. We'll see. We'll see if there's something that What I'll do is I will try and find it, and then I will try to listen to The Fragile, because I love Nine Inch Nails anyways, and it's been a long time since I've listened to them, and see how they work out, because that would probably be pretty interesting. So, what's your favorite Nine Inch Nails album, if you have one? Lettuce?
Pretty Hate Machine.
Oh, Pretty Hate Machine. Classic. Like Ring Finger and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Oh, Ring Finger is like one of my favorite songs from that album. Yeah, my personal favorite is Year Zero. That's my personal favorite.
That's an unusual one.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't, I mean, before that I would have said The Downward Spiral. But
that's more That's a more common one.
Yeah, but after Year Zero came out, it's Year Zero for me was like one of the first times where I heard a Nine Inch Nails album and I was like, every single song on this album is a masterpiece. It's amazing. I love it.
Year Zero absolutely does slap.
It does what?
It slaps.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. Um, I always loved like the Great Destroyer and stuff like that. I thought that was amazing.
Oh, the way that song just kind of deteriorates there at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
It did just a distortion mess.
Uh huh.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
Um, I can't remember which song it is, but there's one where near the end of the song, it kind of starts to distort and get really weird, and it's like a big like wave of sound that doesn't make any sense. And it turns out like I ended up like getting really curious about why it was distorted in the way because it seems unusual, right? And you can take that song. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry, guys. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's you can take that song into and I can't remember what program you're supposed to use either. God, I'm so bad trying to recall this stuff, but you can basically open the sound file as an image. And if you do that, the giant distortion in the music is a giant hand coming down from the sky and crushing everything, which is kind of one of the themes in Year Zero. It's super cool.
Yeah,
It's super cool.
I think that is the ending of Great Destroyer that does that.
Is that the one? I
Yeah.
Oh man. I thought that album was just a total complete work of art. And the other thing that made me a little disappointed in the only thing that made me disappointed in the album was originally Year Zero was going to become an HBO television series. Did you know that? No?
Yeah, there was a lot of multimedia stuff planned for Year Zero that just never came to fruition.
Yeah. I loved the idea of because there's like a complex story to it and all that, and I loved the idea of them turning it into an actual TV series, but it never really happened, sadly, which is too bad. But you know, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely I don't know. I don't really listen to Nine Inch Nails anymore. Do you?
I mean, they haven't really released much of anything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there was Add Violence and Bad Witch that
Well,
came out
I have
pretty.
no idea what those are. That's how out
Those
of
were those were two albums that they released like a couple of years ago.
wow. I am so out of the loop when it comes to Nine Inch Nails. That feels weird, man. Yeah. I don't. It's just that like I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel more detached from music than I ever have in my entire life. Like now in this current time and age with everything going on, it's just I don't know.
I find as people get older,
Mm-hmm.
if they're not deep in music, it becomes less important to you when like as you're crossing from like your mid to late 20s,
Right. Right.
unless you're just like deep into it.
Right.
It really does. You just kind of find other things
Mm-hmm.
in your adult life kind of get in the way.
I
Or at least,
I
or at least that's
definitely
pretty
understand
common.
that.
Or at least that's my common observation. Being well on the other side of 30.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean, it's what happened to me. It's what happened to
yeah.
people my age around me. Those people who don't like stay in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
It just they're like, I have the music from my youth. That's that part of my life,
Right.
and I'll always cherish that. I've got other things now for this part of my life that I will always cherish. And it doesn't necessarily have to be music.
I think I understand that. You know, it's really weird because if I were to kind of think about what you just now said like years ago, I would have been like, no, like I love music and I will always be that way and I will always be into the music scene. But now when I hear what you just presented, it's like that. Yeah, like
And the thing is you always will
mhm.
cherish the music of the music you cherished back when you would have said that.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't escape you. It's why bands uh it's why bands like Aerosmith can just run around playing the hits.
Mhm.
They're not really concerned with making new music because
They've done
no
it
one
all.
likes their new music.
Yeah.
But everybody who's like Aerosmith is like, oh, I want to listen to this hit from the '90s. I want to listen to this hit from the '80s.
Yeah.
No one gives a crap
Yeah.
that they released an album. Like no one cares that Trent Reznor released an album in 2017 because everybody wants to hear him play Closer again.
Yeah.
Everybody everybody wants to hear his wonderful cover of Her.
Yep. That's a good song. Yeah. It's
And
definitely weird to
kids
think
and
about.
kids these days are like, hey, he's covering that Johnny Cash song.
Ugh. Oh God, don't say that. Ugh.
No. Kids these days unironically say that. And here's the thing. I'll agree with them.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash did that song the best.
You know what? I
I think
definitely could
I
agree with that. I
and I
think I
think
could agree with
Trent
that.
and I believe on the record Trent has agreed.
Yeah. I what was it a
That
while
that the video for that song was just so breathtaking.
I don't think I've heard the song that Johnny Cat like his version of that song many times, but I don't think I've ever seen the music video for it. Like I don't think that's
It
a thing.
was recorded like weeks before his wife died,
Oh no.
and she's in it,
No.
and it was
Oh.
recorded like the thing is Johnny Cash died like 6 months after the fact.
Oh, that's
So this is
heartbreaking.
so this is like the last thing Johnny Cash did was record this song in
Oh,
his museum in Nashville.
that is genuinely heartbreaking. Oh man, I had no idea. I mean, because I like Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash is the kind of musician where it's like if he comes on, yeah, I like it, but I'm not going out of my way to like pick up his albums. I'm not going out of my way to learn the history. I'm not going out of my way to like know everything. But I can enjoy it for what it is when it's being played right in front of me. There's no
I
doubt
have
about it.
in my songs that I have that keep on my phone.
Uh huh.
I just hit play songs and hit random.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple Johnny Cash songs in there.
Really?
Yeah, Folsom Prison Blues and Ring of Fire.
I was literally about to say, dude, Ring of Fire, man, Ring of Fire.
Well, I mean that's the one that's the one he's obviously.
I will never forget the first time I ever really heard Ring of Fire, and the best thing about it, and this is kind of good because I kind of wanted to transition into this anyways. The first time I ever heard the song Ring of Fire was actually from a video game. And because I kind of wanted to move into video games as well a little bit, was did you ever play back on the PlayStation 2, I believe, Tony Hawk's Underground 2? Was that a game you ever played or knew about?
Knew about. Didn't play Tony Hawk Pro Skater after 3.
Oh, I see.
I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Okay.
3 was kind of the tipping point. You know how in that era of video games, like genres just kind of killed themselves,
Yeah.
like the rhythm genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
People forget like that was the rhythm genre really got its start in the PlayStation 2 era with Guitar Hero.
Oh, really? I mean,
Yeah,
that
Guitar
makes
Hero was a
sense, but I
PlayStation
didn't know that.
Guitar Hero was a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah. Wow. Like, it's actually really interesting how many, like, how big of an impact Guitar Hero had on the video game industry, but, like, as fast and hard as it came in, it also kind of just, poofed out of existence after a certain amount of time, which is kind of interesting.
I don't know if it was poof fast.
No, but I
As
mean, it came hard, and then like after
Yeah, it did.
after a little got him, uh,
God,
Gaddy,
nice.
nice. Well, I mean, I don't know, because then they did. What happened was, like, after Guitar Hero came Rock Band, and then Rock Band kind of like pushed Guitar Hero out, and then Rock Band kind of saw the end of like those kinds of games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like anybody really talks about Rock Band anymore. I don't even think they make games anymore, do they?
Let's see here. So you're sort of wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll be wrong.
Okay,
I'll be the wrong guy.
so I was really big into rhythm games from about 2005 to 2010.
Right.
So there was a 5 year stretch, which for any genre to stay on top of that, to stay on top of gaming for as long and not involve pew pews,
Okay.
it's quite remarkable if you think about just the history of video games altogether.
Yeah. It's
To have a non-shooter genre stay on top as long as rhythm did,
mm-hmm.
uh, it was uh, it was quite remarkable.
That's pretty
But yeah,
interesting.
but so from 2005 to 2010, 2012,
Right.
Guitar Hero came out, and Guitar Hero was good. Rock Band came out. Now, Rock Band was supposed to push out Guitar Hero, but what Rock Band did, but the problem is it segmented there was a true segment. Guitar Rock Band was for people who wanted to play drums as well.
Oh, okay.
Guitar Hero was for people who just wanted to play guitar.
Okay. All right.
Rock Band had the vocal recognition that it did fairly well. The drum no the drums in Rock Band were actually really good.
Huh.
Uh,
Like, just like really
and
accurate with keeping up with rhythms and things like that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
like the drum pieces in Rock Band were actually pretty good. But a lot of people didn't want that because they were just used to the guitar.
Right.
And Rock Band's weakest part was the guitar parts. So what ended
Um.
up happening was there was a very big segment of the population where there was Guitar Hero players and then there was Rock Band players
Okay.
with very minimal like crossover. There
Hmm.
were the people who just the crossover was the people who had both games
Right.
because this was before they discovered these games discovered before uh, Rock Band discovered DLC.
Oh
And
man. It was pre DLC era. Wow, what a time, huh?
yeah, yeah, tell me about it. The problem is I think adopting DLC earlier would have saved the rhythm genre a lot because what ended up happening was people got tired of buying. It wasn't that they were getting tired of buying Guitar Hero 5.
Right.
They were tired of buying Guitar Hero Metallica and Guitar Hero Green Day.
Did they really make entire games dedicated to single bands? Was that a thing they did?
Yeah, one of my favorite
What?
games was Rock Band Beatles.
What? How do I not? Oh, God, I am so out of the loop with this kind of stuff. Like, I'm sorry, I was the one who's like, I'm the video game guy. And it's like, clearly, I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Get off my lawn, whippersnapper.
Wow, Guitar Hero, Beatles, and Metallica. Jesus, I can't even
No,
imagine.
Beatles was a Rock Band song game, I believe.
Wow. That's incredible. I had no idea. I had no idea. I've only known
Yeah,
about like the original couple of Guitar Hero games because I remember like the second Guitar Hero game was a big freaking deal. Everybody and their grandmother and the kitchen sink were playing Guitar Hero 2 like
yeah, no.
constantly.
Guitar Hero 2 was definitely where Guitar Hero just blew the heck up.
Yeah, that's insane.
Uh, it was the version that got on the Xbox.
Mhm.
So, because Guitar Hero was originally a place like it was, I don't think it ever got ported to the PlayStation. I could be or the Xbox. I could be wrong about that.
Right.
But Guitar Hero 2, they're like, okay, Xbox players want it, so we're gonna Xbox.
Yeah.
Um, New guitars. The set list for Guitar Hero 2 is one of my favorite rhythm game
Mhm.
set lists still
Yeah.
to this day.
I always my one of my fondest memories was learning how to play My Name Is Jonas on Guitar Hero 2 for the Xbox 360, and like being like really good at that because I love that song. I love Weezer. Big Weezer fan over here.
Also a big Weezer fan.
Nice, nice. I
Nice.
It's actually funny because whenever I think of like talking about how great Weezer is, I always think of a really funny story with a couple of friends of mine from my past back in like my old high school days, where we were all hanging out outside having a smoke, and we were talking about bands we liked, and there's this girl who was hanging out with us at the time, and we were bringing up Weezer, talking about Weezer, and this girl's like, I don't really like Weezer. I don't think they're a very good band. And we all kind of like looked at her with like wide eyes. And then one of my other friends kind of stepped up and he was like, listen, I'll tell you this about Weezer. Someday you're going to die. And when you die, you're going to go up into heaven and you're going to be standing at the pearly gates. And God himself is going to walk right out of those pearly gates. And when you look up at God and you see him wearing an I Love Weezer t-shirt, are you going to be able to tell God that you don't like Weezer? Yeah,
no, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
God bless that man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Weezer, and I loved playing Weezer on like I love playing My Name Is Jonas on Guitar Hero. Trying to come back to that a little bit, but they had some good songs on that game. Like I definitely remember playing it myself, so there's no doubt about it. I just didn't know that they did entire games dedicated to bands. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I mean this was like pre-DLC,
right?
So they would just like repurpose the engine, just give you a set list that's just this one band.
Wow. Did you buy a lot of those or just the Beatles one? Because I know you mentioned the Beatles one, so. No?
I was heavy into rhythm games.
Nice. I'm not personally much of a rhythm game player. In fact, actually on my channel, I played a rhythm game and wow, I was terrible at it. I was really bad at it.
The rhythm game thing was just something that me and my friends played a lot. It was something that even my ex-wife got into, so she and I would play together sometimes.
Were you ever a DDR boy? Like,
oh no.
Too much?
I had a friend who had a DDR pad.
That's cool.
And I just not as coordinated as my legs and stuff. I'm very thick in the trunk.
Yeah, it's okay. I totally get it.
So no, DDR, like that was something that I was beat down for, and actually I cheated a few times and on PlayStation would play DDR games with just the controller.
Oh yeah, but that takes some serious like finger dexterity though. Like that ain't no joke.
That's right, ladies.
Lettuce, master of fingers on DDR with the gamepad. Ooh yeah. Oh, get some. we call him the DDR finger blaster. You heard it here, ladies. You heard it here. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know. I've never really been much of a DDR kind of person either. Like, just because, like, I didn't get it. It never made sense to me. I've always been like, I don't know. I just, rhythm games have never clicked for me. And it's kind of funny because I was actually talking to my sister a little while ago about this where, we were kind of discussing the kinds of games we play. And I was telling her about playing Everhood, which is the rhythm game that I tried a while ago that I epically failed at. And you know, like when I was describing it to her, she's like, "Oh, well, that's a rhythm game. Rhythm games are terrible. I'm terrible at rhythm games, and apparently so are you." And it's just like, yeah, I guess. Like, I want to be good. I want to believe. I really want to believe that this is something I can do, but yeah, and I don't know. It's never clicked for me, but you know, I don't know if it's like I would be better on a controller or if it's just like, you know, there's a probably more efficient to do it with a keyboard and I just need to be better at it. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of more of the RPG and horror kind of style. That's kind of what I'm into. Um, and I mean, I feel like you kind of, you know, in a sense are the same. Like you play a lot of RPGs. Like you're especially a Kingdom Hearts fanatic, if I do say so myself, which is
I am a Keyblade boy. Yeah.
Keyblade boy. Yeah. I've actually really enjoyed coming onto your channel and watching you stream Kingdom Hearts. That's been a good time between us for sure.
Yeah. And at some point, I'll feel comfortable enough with some of those streams to actually keep them live.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that's the thing, guys. If you guys don't already know, if any of my subscribers or any new people are in here, go check out Yaboi Lettuce's channel. It's a good time. It's a good time. He doesn't do things that often, but when he does, it's fun. It's fun. He plays Kingdom Hearts. It's a good time.
Actually, if you're allowing me to self promote.
Yeah, of course, dude. This is not just my podcast. This is your podcast too. You can plug yourself all day if you want. Like seriously.
Well, one of the things I'm going to try to do is, now that things have calmed down for me in my work life,
Right.
and I possibly have some more free time during the evening,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about doing some for beginner streams
Right.
or some tutorial streams for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 randomizer.
So like what is that? Cuz like you've told me like that's something you're doing, but I don't really understand. Like when you've told me that that's something you're doing, I'm like, "Yeah, man, but I don't really know what that is or what that means. What is that?"
So a lot of games older games have been basically ROM hacked
Right.
into having randomizers. One of the other ones that looked really interesting is Ocarina of Time. And so what it is if a game has key items for you to progress,
Uh-huh.
what it will do is it will scatter those key items in random places.
Okay.
Like, let's say, if you're familiar with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, yes I am. To a
Okay,
degree.
so let's say you open up a chest in a dungeon, and you think it's supposed to be the compass for that dungeon,
Okay.
but instead it's the boomerang that you need for another dungeon.
So like you can't complete the dungeon is what you're saying because you don't have the right key item?
Right, but you can go wherever you can get to with the equipment that you have on hand
Uh-huh.
is open from the beginning.
Okay.
So let's say you open up a chest and it gives you let's see here, like the metal boots.
Right. The ones that make you go
Yeah,
underwater. Right.
you could do that at first
Okay.
until you find something that lets you do something else.
Right. Huh. Okay.
With Kingdom Hearts with Kingdom Hearts 2, basically, Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer has been out longer. One is still kind of in its infancy stage, but it's pretty stable now. With Kingdom Hearts 2, you basically have a portal world where you can go into portals and go to any world you want
Uh-huh.
at the start. Let's say, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yes, I have. I beat that game through and through, but don't necessarily remember everything about it. But I did play
Okay,
that game from beginning to end. Yes.
so you know how Pride Lands is one of the last worlds you visit in the first swing through levels?
Relatively, yeah.
Yeah, you could visit that first.
Okay. So, because I was gonna say, because I recall that Kingdom Hearts games are kind of on, like, they're kind of railed. Like they're like, okay, first you go here and then you go here, right? But sometimes they
Yeah,
would have like a crossroads where it's like you can only go one direction, but there's two different worlds you can choose between. Like there's like a fork. So I was kind of
yeah.
wondering how you would be able to randomize, getting certain items for certain things when the game
The
is on a
way
rail.
the way Kingdom Hearts rails you is the gummy ship.
Right.
So what happens when you eliminate the gummy ship?
Which is where the portal thing comes into play?
Yep, you bypass the gummy ship.
Interesting. Is that a thing that is 100% custom made by like fans or something? Because that's cool if that is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
This
so
is this is
cool.
it's a community mod.
That's really cool. I like.
It was made stable for the PC release about a month after the PC release came out.
That's really interesting.
It,
And that's
it is more
Kingdom
stable.
Hearts 2, or is that a different one?
Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Gotcha,
Kingdom Hearts
gotcha.
1, Kingdom Hearts 1 randomizer um, came out in about the same time frame,
Okay.
but it doesn't feel like it's in its final state, but
Right.
it's pretty close.
Huh. That's really.
So one of the things one of the things I wanted to do with my channel was basically show people like what this is all about because it kind of adds a level of replayability to the game.
Right, right.
Because Kingdom Hearts 2, I think, was a pretty good action game.
Yeah.
The problem is it has almost no replayability because it's the same game over and over again.
I actually am a person who stands by that. I think that Kingdom Hearts 1 was more entertaining to me personally than the second one. That's how I feel about it.
Kingdom Hearts 1 has a better story.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'll be I'll be the one who will say the Kingdom Hearts 1 story
Mhm.
was paced better
Yeah,
and the the mixture of Disney and Square
right.
was better intertwined in one than it was for the rest of the game.
I liked the first Kingdom Hearts game because it felt more challenging. I felt like it was a little more rough on the player. It was like expecting you to make intelligent decisions and intelligent, gameplay choices and when you're going into battles and things like that. And I liked the
That's
fact that it kicked my butt more than
that's be,
Kingdom Hearts 2 did.
that's because the system was actually incredibly raw.
Yeah,
The game Kingdom Hearts 2 went more accessible
right.
than Kingdom Hearts 1,
Mhm.
but it also was deeper than Kingdom Hearts 1.
Mhm.
So if you were just the person who's just like, I'm just going to press X to win,
Yeah.
viable strategy Kingdom Hearts 1
Mhm.
on standard difficulty.
Mhm.
Viable strategy. You can play Kingdom Hearts 1 without ever form change. You can play Kingdom Hearts 2, never form change, never cast a summon,
Yeah.
and reliably make your way through it with only having some problem with some bosses.
Mhm. I
Uh,
definitely remember getting to that point in Kingdom Hearts 2 where it literally felt like changing into different forms felt like so overpowered that there was just no point to it?
right.
Yeah.
Uh, but but if you were looking for something kind of like a deep gameplay, looking for better boss strategies and stuff like that,
Mhm.
Kingdom Hearts 2 gives you just because it gives you more options and all the options are viable,
Right.
so you were able to come up with strategies that were uh, more suiting for your needs. That's
Mhm.
why the majority of people will laud Kingdom Hearts 2's gameplay as being far superior
Right, right.
because it is.
Yeah.
It's basically the great evolution of the possibilities that were in Kingdom Hearts,
Hmm.
and they nailed it.
Okay. I mean, I could see that. I mean, it just my thing was that it felt like the second game was so it was made to be so player friendly that the difficulty was watered down. And I got to that. It's kind of like when you're playing, you know, Skyrim, right? Without any mods or anything. And you feel, do you know what I mean though when I say that? In the sense of like you get to a point where you're just god mode all the time. You know what I mean?
You mean instantly?
Yeah. Like that my problem with the second Kingdom Hearts game was I felt like that I achieved godhood so quickly, and I felt like that there wasn't necessarily like once you got that, like I felt like that there was the magic transformation. I feel like that once you unlock, and that's like I think that's the second transformation in the game, right? Because there's like
Wisdom
three.
form,
Huh?
wisdom form, second transformation that you get.
Yeah.
Right around your visit.
I remember in Kingdom Hearts 2, I felt like that once I achieved the wizard transformation, the whole game was easy street after that. That was like the best transformation in the game, in my other than ultimate overpowered god mode white suit transformation. You know what I mean? But but
Yeah,
wizard.
no.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. I get it. No, wisdom form. I can see if you're just playing and then you get wisdom form and you pop it the first time, and you're on roller skates and you're shooting everything.
Yeah.
And your MP recharges so fast.
Yeah.
I can see why people would think why that people would think that that's like, well, why would I do anything else?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt when I played Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, I was
And
like, oh, well, why bother? You know? Like, I could just do whatever I want in this form and destroy everything.
and I guess, and I'm thinking about it, like playing it normal now.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, there are ways where if you're doing it correctly, you don't ever run out of your form gauge
Yeah.
or your drive gauge, because they're just like area like rooms and stuff where if you are in a form
Mm-hmm.
and you go into the room, it takes you out of the form, but it also refills your gauge.
Yeah. Well, I also recall, wasn't there like a whole thing where like you can chain kills to recharge your form while you're like fighting in your form? Was that a thing? Because I recall
Yeah,
that.
there's an ability called Drive Converter that turned MP and HP bubbles into Drive Converter bubbles.
Yeah. So it's like,
So
uh,
if you had if you had form boost, which lengthened your time in the form, plus Drive Converter, yeah, there were times where you could just like permanently be in a form.
yeah. And I mean, I even remember like there were some places in the game where like enemies would just keep spawning no matter what you did, like especially during certain boss fights or something like that. And you're just like, this is my life now.
Yeah, there's a couple of structured fights where the end of the situation is either you die,
Mm-hmm.
which progresses the game,
Yeah.
or you've accumulated certain number of hits.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of them like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will also admit I don't want to shit on your game because first of all, I did actually as a young teenager enjoy Kingdom Hearts 2. I just felt like that the first one was a more enjoyable experience for me personally, but it's still a good game. And I mean, I'm not going to hate it for what it was because I just prefer one over the other. That's all it is. It's not
No.
it's not a hate fest, I promise.
Yeah, no. Like I like both the games kind of equally. I realized what one was,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate it for pulling off what it did. I
Right.
think two is one of the better action games to ever be released.
Okay. Yeah. I could see
Like
that.
it's like right up there with God of War.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. I've never played God of War, but I've seen gameplay of it. So,
Yeah,
um,
so right about that time frame. Sure, there's RGP aspects,
okay.
but a lot of a lot of what Kingdom Hearts was, especially given the combo system, is a spectacle fighter.
Mhm.
It's God of War. It's Devil May Cry.
Right. Huh. That's another game I listen. I'm the gaming guy. What's Devil May Cry? No, I know what Devil May Cry is. I've just once again have never played it because that's the kind of man that I am. Oh man. I don't know. I is that shoot. That's vampires, right? It's a vampire thing? Am I out of my league here?
Demons?
Demons. Okay, I was close. Vampires, demons, what's the difference?
Yeah, no. Dante was a demon.
Dante's a demon. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there were vampires in the games.
Gotcha.
So might as well be.
Yeah. Yeah, I just I don't know. I was just not into that stuff. Like Devil May Cry and the other one we mentioned, God of War. Those were just not games that I was super into. I was definitely more of a silly kind of RPG kind of boy. Like I played a lot of JRPGs and stuff like that. Like I was playing a lot of Final Fantasy stuff and obviously Kingdom Hearts and I have some fond memories of Sly Cooper. I don't know why I suddenly brought that up, but that's the first two Sly Cooper games. What's up? Those are classic.
So, in full disclosure, I didn't play God of War that much. I played a little bit of God of War 2.
Okay.
And I don't think I ever played a Devil May Cry game.
Oh.
Because I am like you. I'm not really much of a spectacle fighter player.
Yeah.
But the thing is like I see things like Arkham Asylum.
Oh yeah.
And God of War.
Huh.
And I see a lot of the like games that are constantly lauded for having fun combat systems. Where, it's based on attack combos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I see a lot of that in Kingdom Hearts, but the Kingdom Hearts has the RPG elements.
Right.
And it has the Disney whimsy.
So with that in mind, ignoring the Disney whimsy, but going into RPG elements and combos and things like that, because I feel like this is kind of a controversial game to talk about sometimes with certain people. What is your opinion on Final Fantasy 12? If you have one.
I did not like it.
You didn't like it? Okay. Well, I mean, okay. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like Final Fantasy 12, so I get that. I really do.
It was the start of the Final Fantasy terrible story trend.
See, everybody says that, but like I love 12 story. See, I'm on the side of I like Final Fantasy 12. Now, I should give context to that. Not Zodiac Age. Zodiac Age is terrible. It was a recreation of Final Fantasy 12. They ruined a bunch of things that I didn't want to have ruined. But I am actually a fan of the original Final Fantasy 12 game, and I liked the story. I liked the whole conspiracy and like the princess that fell from grace, and the rebel Bosch whose name was condemned for being a conspirator, but he wasn't actually a conspirator. And I thought it was a clever storyline. Like, and the prince who like was like, I'm going to be the person that saves this world, and then it turns out that actually he was the one that created the whole conspiracy. And I liked it. But I mean, I at the same time, totally, like, it's not the first time I've heard that people say they don't like the story. It's definitely not the first time I've heard people say they don't like the game in general, but I don't know. And to make sure that people understand that, like, where I come from on that, I don't.
Van was a shit character.
Is what?
Van?
Yeah, Van was annoying. I mean,
terrible character.
Yeah.
I like the thing is you have to play Final Fantasy 12. You have to take the main character they give you and pretend like he's not the main character, because Ash is really the main character.
Well, so in Final Fantasy 12, all the characters you play with are technically, to a particular degree, main characters. However, some get the spotlight much more so than others. Like, for example, the pirates were kind of left in the dust a bit. They barely got any spotlight, but they were still interesting characters. But, it's Van was definitely an annoying character for sure. I actually like Pinello quite a bit, but I didn't like Van because I don't like obnoxious characters. I don't like characters that are like in your face and like, especially when they're kids. Like, sometimes a brash character as an adult can be some fun, but when it's a kid, it's like, dude, I can't take you seriously because you don't know what it's like to be an adult. So shut up. Like,
Yeah, like Canelo and Van were just terrible.
You didn't like Pinello? Okay. I
I
could
didn't.
see
I
that.
didn't like. I didn't like Pinello. Uh, like Ash was serviceable sometimes, but then
Yeah.
again,
Ash was definitely
um,
the most interesting of the group of characters for sure.
right. Well, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be the main character, but
Yeah.
they put Van on the box for some strange reason.
Well, I mean, because like the plot kind of intertwines with like most of the characters other than the pirates. Like there's a whole deep storyline going on with like Bosch, and there's obviously I would agree that Ash is probably the focal point of the story because she's the exiled princess, which a lot of the story kind of revolves around. And
Yeah,
then the whole thing with Pinello and Vaughn is they just kind of are. They're the characters that kind of get unintentionally absorbed into everything that's going on.
yeah,
They're unwary of the events, but they get sucked into it and thus are forced to deal with the whole situation. So
yeah. Like I don't know what. Like I mean, let's call it what it is. It's another retelling of A New Hope.
yeah. Oh, I never thought of it that way. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, so
Which is the second time, which is kind of the second time, like Final Fantasy 12 kind of hit me like as like this is kind of a like a New Hope retelling. Which I mean, how many stories can you actually tell? So it's
mhm.
kind of hard to not trope out to Star Wars.
Yeah.
But to be perfectly honest, like 12 the story was kind of not intriguing
Mhm.
at all to me
Okay. Okay.
because it was just so cliche.
Okay. I mean,
Um,
you know,
and then
that's
the
fine.
combat system was we want to port the Final Fantasy 11 combat system to not an MMO.
Right.
And I'm like, no, don't, no, just don't do this. Just revamp. Just give us the Final Fantasy 8 draw system again. That was fun.
Mm. I don't know. I liked the innovations of the combat system in Final Fantasy 12, but that's just me. And I know that there are
Did you
lots of
did you
people who
play
disagree.
did you play Final Fantasy 11
That was the MMO, wasn't
MMO?
it?
That
Yeah,
was the
no,
MMO.
I've never played any of the Final Fantasy MMOs. I've never played those.
Okay, so the combat in 12 wasn't innovative.
Mm.
It was literally trying to port an MMO combat system
Hmm.
to a single player RPG,
Okay.
and it did not work.
Hmm. Yeah, I just wouldn't know because I haven't played those, but
Right. Uh, yeah, 11 I think has the worst combat out of
um,
all the modern Final Fantasy.
I do hear a lot of good stuff about 14, though. That is for sure.
I didn't put a lot of time into 14 because I got on the beta,
Right.
the pre-release beta,
Uh huh.
and after playing the game for about a day and a half,
Uh
I turned in a report saying, "Dear God, why are you planning on releasing this tomorrow?"
huh. What are you doing? Why?
I was like, "Dear God, do not release this tomorrow."
Uh huh.
But they did, and then they had to turn down the game for 6 months as they had to turn off the game for 6 months as they fixed it.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
I hear the re-release of 14, A Realm Reborn,
Mm-hmm.
was way better. I was like no, I don't. A, I don't have time for another MMO.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, two, I I don't trust Square's MMOs after what I've been through in the beta.
Yeah.
'Cause
I used
I
to.
really loved 11.
You loved 11. Okay.
Yeah, I
Does it
loved
still
11.
run or is it shut down?
I think if it's shut down, it's very recently shut down.
Okay. I don't know about 11 or 14. I used to know a girl who was very, she might even now, be very into Final Fantasy 14. She used to tell me about it constantly, all the time. Uh, so, but pretty much everything that I knew about 14 would come from her. So that was kind of it for that. And I personally never, she kept trying to talk me into getting into it. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of out of the MMO scene. It's not really my thing much anymore, and I'm not really looking to get back into it anytime soon. So, especially considering that, like, I'm a person, when it came to the MMOs that I did used to play, it would be like, oh, I'm obsessed, and I'm going to play it every single day, like, all the time. And then I would be like, I don't want to do this anymore, and I would literally drop it and not tell anybody, and then I would be gone for a year, and nobody knows where the hell I would go. And, some of the funnier stories about that would be simply in some of the MMOs that I used to play, I would get married. And hot tip, guys, don't get married in like a game and then stop playing it for a year without telling anybody. Don't do that. They get very your wifey. They get very angry when you do things like that. Hot tip. Hot MMO tip if you get married in game. So don't do that.
Pro tip life strat. Yeah, don't also just don't do weird things in a MMO like. If you find yourself marrying up to somebody on the other side of an MMO client, you probably need to step away.
You've never played an MMO where you would get married? You've never done that?
No.
Really? Wow. Okay. I guess I'm the weird one here. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I was also a weird guy who preferred playing MMOs solo.
Ah, you're a beater. You're a beater. Hot anime reference right there about MMOs. There you go. That's the one for the day. That's the one for the day.
Yay! No, my favorite MMO was City of Heroes, because you could straight up play all the contents.
City of Heroes, wasn't that like the DC Comics MMO?
You're thinking DC Universe Online?
I guess. I thought it was called City of Heroes, but
no,
I mean...
NCSoft,
okay.
which is a company name that you should probably be somewhat familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
They made a superhero MMO before DC Universe Online.
Really?
That basically just lets you create your own superhero.
That's kind of cool.
And then fly around the city doing superhero things. Which was like, you've got like 8 factions of bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
2 in each zone. They do bad guy things, and you fly into their stuff and go pew pew all over their faces.
That's hot. Okay. Well, I do have to say, we've been having a good time, but we do actually have to wrap it up. It is about that time, my good friend. So.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed this. We'll have to continue this discussion later.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
I was about to say maybe sometime this next week.
Yeah.
We could talk more about video games you actually have played.
Yeah, I know, right? What a concept. I'm a video game kid. I do the things with the games on the televisions.
Mr. Video Game Expert.
Clearly I am. Clearly, you can tell. But yeah, so the Imaginary Boys will be back.
Yeah.
This was the first episode, Hot Salad. And I'm sure we'll be just as equally clever with the next one, I'm sure. And but this was a good time, and I'm glad we're doing this. I'm You're helping me achieve my dreams, Mr. Lettuce. You're helping me achieve my dreams of having a podcast. So
your dreams. You can't achieve your goals. I have a dream.
I have a dream. So I'm really excited for us to continue with the Imaginary Boys, and I will see you very, very soon, my good friend Lettuce. So. And
Awesome.
and we will see all the lovely peeps soon enough, and go ahead and go subscribe to Lettuce, please. Go and hang out with him. Do you want to plug anything other than your normal YouTube channel, or?
No. I mean, I've got my YouTube channel that has nothing on it right now.
Well, there you go. Go and subscribe anyway, you guys.
You might catch me on the Magic Historians streams.
Me too.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
I like to hang out there, and I help him make the jokes sometimes.
There you go. Me too. Me three. Me do the thingy too. So yeah, I'm gonna plug myself like I always do, which is, guys, if you like the podcast and you want to see more, then please let me know down below, and go ahead and let us a call and or a message or a comment, preferably on something that I'm sure he has available. Let him know as well. But I'm gonna say all those wonderful things, which is, guys, go like, comment, subscribe. We might also be distributing this on possibly iTunes, maybe Spotify. We're not 100% sure yet. But just keeping track of the normal ways that we hang out on YouTube is a good way to stay with us, which we greatly appreciate, and supporting us through liking, commenting, and subscribing, as well as hitting the notification bell, is incredibly helpful. You can also check in the description below for all the wonderful links. You can donate, you can join the Patreon, and my wonderful co-host here, Mr. Lettuce, is on my Patreon, so if you want to go hang out with him and all of my other wonderful peeps on Patreon, that is a great way to do it. And shouting out those wonderful people besides Lettuce is also wonderful Mr. Bo Falcon, Fajuk Enterprises, James P., as well as the lovely Miss Rebecca. I love my Patreons. We're releasing content on there here and there. I'm working on a lot of different projects. And other than that, we've been the Imaginary Boys, and we will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.